well, one great benefit of LGBTQ in a sentence, like this, and you think to yourself, who's going to beat it? Is it going to be Russia? Is it going to be China? It's most likely to destroy itself very quickly. It's like LGBTQ guy. In the UK, for example, women were not allowed on the front line. This lesbian here and that woman there and stuff like that. The LGBTQ phenomena is one of the best. Like, there's 26% of Italians get married, have lots of kids. Let the building fall in front of us.
Unfortunately, we are in the house of cards, arguably the cause of the fall of many civilizations, like the pleasure through sexual freedom, that.
And subhanAllah, I was thinking as well, one great benefit of LGBTQ, I'd never thought I'd be starting a sentence like this.
They're just gonna clip that. They're gonna say
one great benefit of it is that it's a really powerful way for them to destroy their own civilization from within. Because if you think about it, like, the Western civilization is really powerful, right? Western Europe and its extensions. It's really powerful in that sense. And you think to yourself, how can a civilization or a country like the United States of America, which has a military budget which is more than the 10 most countries or 13 most countries combined, how can a civilization like this with Hollywood and all this how can there be a competitor to this civilization? And you think to yourself, who's going to beat it? Is it going to be Russia? Is it going to be China? Is it going to be the Middle East? Is it the Muslim world? And all of them, in many ways, you can see how a case can be made, economic case in the case of China, military case in the case of Russia. But it's not really convincing. What's more convincing to me is that the Western civilization, with LGBTQ, with all of these things that they have, is most likely to destroy itself very quickly. Because, I'm not sure if you saw this video recently. It was very funny, actually. It was like you've got the Russian army. They're doing like these drills and stuff like that. The Russian army, the military. And then it's just like these men, they're going like obstacle courses, shooting, and then they juxtaposed it with the American one. And it was a woman who started off as like a lesbian. She was like, I always wanted to go to Ends of Man. I don't know what it was, yeah? It's like LGBTQ guy. I was thinking to myself, like, at the end of the day, if this is if these are the guys you're going to put on the front line, an enemy to the Western civilization, that is a dream for them. To see you put these guys on the front line. To women in the UK, for example, women were not allowed on the front line. Only recently they changed the law that can now put women on the front line. If now these guys, whoever you are going to be facing next, you can see women in the front line and this lesbian here and that woman there and stuff like that. This is like it's a gift. You're gifting them. Yeah. And, at the end of the day, do you really think that they can do what these guys in World War II did for you? There's no chance. If your armies and militaries were composed of that, we would have a world now which is dominated by Nazi-speaking Nazis, actually. We'd have a completely different world. So the point is that the LGBTQ phenomena is one of the best. It's a double-edged sword for everyone else who has had enough of Western dominance, because on the one hand, yes, we're being infiltrated and affected in a Muslim world, and we have to protect ourselves. But on the other hand, it's a surefire way that the Western civilization is destroying itself. That's undoubtedly, and the families now, they're not. I went to Italy the other day, and after that I went to Germany, and both countries are seriously aging populations. Like, there's 26% of Italians are over the age of 65. This is because they have a disregard for families and structures and stuff. And in the Muslim world, it's not like that. In the Muslim world, that's the reason why Pew says it forecasts that we're going to be like 1/3 of the world's population with 2100, is because we care about families and having kids, and we're following the prophetic advice. Takatharu, tanakahu, takatharu, get married, have lots of kids. This is what the Prophet ﷺ told us to do. And so these guys are going against that. They're not even getting married because of the financial disincentives and because of their hypergamous needs gone out of control and entitlement. We as the Muslim community need to safeguard ourselves away from that and let the building fall in front of us. Or let the house of cards fall in front of us. But we don't need to be in that house of cards. We don't need to be engaged in this thing.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. But unfortunately we are in the house of cards. We're living here in society. So the sexual degeneracy has been arguably the cause of the fall of many civilizations, like the Roman civilization. And you had even Ibn Khaldun refer to this in the muqaddimah, that it's the sexual deviance and what's the word? The starts with a D. I forgot the word for it.
Well,
Decadence.
degeneracy
and decadence.
Okay,
Luxury,
yeah.
and we have to taste every taste and experience every pleasure, and the entirety of life becomes about pursuit of pleasure and luxury. So this is something that Ibn Khaldun says creates the fall of civilization, and a repeated pattern that we see. And the West is now in that state of utmost decadence, utmost prioritization of pleasure through sexual freedom. That's what sexual freedom is. So it's not a surprise that they're on their downturn or downfall.
Before leaving, make sure to subscribe, share your comments, and turn on notifications for the latest updates.